Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this very special deep woo-woo episode. Tonight is Monday, and it's Tarot by Janine. You can find her work, of course, at Sending Ravens here on YouTube, and also at Tarot by Janine. Janine, welcome back to the show.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Jean-Claude.
How's it going, Janine, today?
Good. My son's home, so it's great.
Oh, you just got a boost of energy, have you?
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. And do you want to share a little bit what you were up to this afternoon? Did you actually go hunting? Do you want to talk about that or no?
You mean the car hunt?
Yeah. Did it work out or did it not work out?
No, we nailed one. We nailed a car. We had to buy him a car because somebody hit his car. Honestly, that was on December 10th. And the more you look at the details of that, it was one of those things that Cliff High likes to talk about.
Oh, okay.
I can't say the word on.
Yeah. The accidents that start with the letter V.
Yes.
Right.
It was so weird and strange.
Wow.
But anyway, we're finally get to go shopping for a car for cash.
Awesome.
And looks like we found one. Yay.
And he's okay still, right?
He's great.
Okay.
He was good. Yeah.
That's what counts. Yeah, we're getting a lot of reports of those accidents that start with the letter V more and more in your neck of the neighborhood. So if you guys are driving, pay attention more than ever before. Pretend you're driving a motorcycle. I used to have a motorcycle. And when you drive a motorcycle, you're a lot more careful because if anybody touches you or hits you, you're dead, right? Yeah. So you drive a lot more defensively. So perhaps if you're in a car, pretend like you're in a motorcycle and really, really pay attention around you. There's a lot of people out there maybe who are not as present as they should be behind the wheel because of all of these adverse products. We'll say it that way. All right. Janine, you look extra beautiful today. You too, JC. Okay. Thank you. I'll take it. I did shave today. Oh my God. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight on this live interactive show. We have a huge slide deck of news. Man, there's a lot to go through, so we'll do our best here, and of course we'll take some questions from the PayPal tip jar. Let me bring that link up for you guys as well, and also from the Discord channel for the Insider Access Pass members. So if you guys are ready to start populating those, I will be going through that very shortly. Now, I want to start with this one, Janine. It kind of ties in with the last special investigation you and I just recorded yesterday, but this happened just last night as I was posting our investigation on these guys here. So if you guys haven't seen this special investigation with Janine, it's now available on the pay-per-view. And yes, we had to tie in Mr. T there. There's a lot of weird things going on around that. So not much here we can say on this episode, so please do go and check that out. But let's go back to Mr. Saget here. Now, do you know who this person is, Janine, first of all? Have you followed this guy's career? Do you know anything about him? Okay.
No, only what I hear through the channels, right? Which is never good, let's just say.
Right. So he was popular on, I guess, two major endeavors on TV. We don't even need to mention them here. But what was interesting is, in the last couple of years, he's been on radio shows where he was joking about hurting little people, and that's all I'll say. And it was all like funny, ha ha ha. And people were like, "Wow, that's not even a joke. Like, why is he even joking about that? Doesn't even make sense." And on top of that, in the early 2000s, there was a show on TV or on it was on Netflix, or it could have been one of those specialty channels. At any rate, it was called Entourage, and this was all about Hollywood and talent agencies and how they manage talent. And this particular agency had this guy as a client. And in the show, they all knew, working at the agency, that this guy was into hurting little people. And it was just a known thing that they would manage because, of course, they're managing talent and they want the money and they don't care what these people do. So anyways, that was just on TV. So I want to start there and ask the cards, is this guy, in fact, attached to all of these not so pretty things that people have accused him here of in the last number of years? Let's start there. And Teresa Ernst says pervy wood. Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Oh yeah, you bet he was. He is. Is he? Didn't he just leave?
Yeah, he supposedly just died yesterday at the age of 65. That was the news article. Go ahead.
So past, present, and near future. I'm thinking he didn't go. I'm thinking he might have got rounded up. He's somewhere unique. I don't know. None of that looks like he's actually gone. This more looks like he's rounded up. Is that a possibility with him?
Well, yeah. Well, here the news story is that he died suddenly. So there's that sudden death thing that's coming up in the news. And of course, he was tripled, quadruple dosed, whatever you want to say. But again, okay. So the reason I'm asking, first of all, was he attached? You're getting a yes to that. The reason I'm asking is that in this special investigation show, we talked about this part 2 of this Ghislaine Maxwell trial that might occur here because of some of the jury shenanigans.
Yep.
Again, we'll be careful in the choosing of our words here. But we talked about these other persons of interest and who would eventually start falling off the map. And of course, just as I was uploading this video last night, then this Bob Saget thing came to the news. So, okay, let's ask precisely, is he now rounded up and is he singing like a bird? Is that what's going with this guy?
He was moved somewhere. He was taken somewhere. A really unique, so away from where he lives. So he was taken somewhere. He's not having a lot of fun. And he's facing judgment. So yeah, the guy's in the South Florida spa or somewhere like that.
Wow. Okay. I think that's as far as we can go on that guy. So let me go back here to this link here. And this is, just so you guys know, Janine Investigates, episode number 6. And I'm just going to bring the link down in the live chat. But of course, you guys can find that at beyondmystic.net /pay-per-view. Okay, next story for tonight. Let me move down our list here. This is interesting. So our buddy Bix Weir at roadtoruta.com was posting this earlier today. And he's explaining that in the middle of 2021, the U.S. meant abruptly and illegally, some would say, cease production of the Silver Eagles to implement a change to the design for no apparent good reason. And that's what everybody is trying to figure out what's happening here. And essentially, they basically put a notch in a coin where the previous coins did not have. And I think this is important, and I wanted to share this with the audience simply because last Friday, on the Wacky Woo show, I had Bix Weir, Jason Ford, and of course, Litecoin Lisa, who was on. And Litecoin Lisa had been talking about these ITMs for the last number of months. I've had her before on the crypto show, and we had never seen them in action. Whereas now, in her state, they are in fact installing these physical machines at some of the banks around where she lives. And she went and she actually recorded this. So this is one of the employees explaining to Lisa how these ITMs, as opposed to ATMs, are working. And essentially, they're coin dispensers. And we were like, what? Who needs coins? Like, they've done everything they can to remove coins from our circulation for the most part. They've removed a lot of the silver and the base metals from them that are important to us or precious. And except for maybe people who operate coin wash, like, or things like that, they don't need coin dispensers at 2 a.m. So why are the banks investing in all of this infrastructure to disperse coins in these ITMs? So let's start here. Is that related perhaps to the story that Bix Weir is putting out here, that these notches and these particular silver dollars would differentiate them somehow in the implementation here of a new financial monetary system here that might be on the verge of taking form, seeing as these physical machines are in fact being installed now? So are those things related here to the switch over to our financial system?
Okay, this looks interesting. I feel like they might have done it or had it in mind because we've got this strategy card. So somebody got it in their head, and or somebody with clout, obviously, got it in their head that they might, or that could be something they're going to need to do. But now it's up in the air if they're going to carry through with that. So that might have been a waste of energy and time and taxpayers' money. And they're still debating if they should go ahead with that. It's a potential with the Two of Pentacles.
Okay, so let's ask the question more precisely for the audience members who maybe have seen the show here, the Wacky Woo guys. Go check it out. That was the last Friday's show. Are these ITMs part of the strategy from the good guys who are trying to implement a softer landing after this transition so that maybe we give more value to these treasury coins as opposed to the Federal Reserve dollars, which are not dollars? Is that part of, okay, big yes.
Yeah, that's a yes. It's an opportunity, and that's a yes to your question. So yeah, they're trying to give more opportunities for people. It's
Wow.
a potential that, so I feel like there's still dispute whether those coins that were pulled out were going to be used or not. But what you just said there is a yes.
Okay. Okay. And okay, so can we ask for timing here? Because again, here, that will bring the audience members to bear on the question of, hey, should they buy physical gold and silver? A lot of them are still procrastinating, even though a lot of the data is pointing to the fact that we're going to be living maybe a tri-metallic currency here, or sound money system very soon. Are these machines, okay, time-wise, are we looking at a month, 2 months, 3 months, weeks? What can the cards tell us as to what the plan was, not necessarily what the implementation is, but what the plan was to actually get this out rolling for their actual intent? Right now, they're telling us it's just for coins, blah, 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 nothing to see here. But what can the cards tell us in terms of what the actual planning was for the timing?
I think they wanted to have everything rolling by May. That's the fifth month. I was asking for months, and this card's 5. So May. Okay, but so we've got this 2, but things are up in the air going forward. There's some things that got held up a little bit. So it's up in the air, timing's up in the air. But what was the first part of that question? Because I laid out some cards on that first part too. You said,
I was asking about the timing on whether or not, people who are procrastinating about buying gold and silver,
yeah.
Is this an indication for them to maybe hurry up to get into this tri-metallic new economy we're getting into? That was the question.
I think there'll be also physical dollar bills of some kind, or notes, or whatever they're going to call it. They're going to have both. I feel like with that card, that's a balanced going forward. They're going to have a balance, and things will be not ruled by the Fed. So it's not going to be that old system. We've been getting that consistently. So it might be a good idea. Yeah. Because this card says prepare, get ready, but it's not being urgent. Like, I always get the feeling it is going to be a soft landing. They've somehow managed, even if the whole Fed crashes like it sort of already did in the background, it's going to be softer somehow. I don't know how they're doing it, but that's what I get.
Okay. Very good. Let's move on to the next news story. Well, this one is interesting. Okay, so Janine and I have been tracking this whole Kazakhstan story here since last Thursday, and we're putting together a huge investigation slide deck for this show. Originally, we were going to record today, but I think tomorrow, Janine, you and I are going to record this on Kazakhstan. And what's interesting today, this just came out too, and it was an important piece, and it's a good thing we didn't do the show. There seems to be ties here with a military biological lab that purportedly was seized by rioters here in Kazakhstan. So it ties into this other story that's going around the world right now. So Janine and I, folks, are going to be recording this probably tomorrow afternoon. So look for it tomorrow night on the Insider Access Pass, and then probably on Wednesday morning for the pay-per-view. Another thing that's coming out of this here is the ties to the Biden family. Again, things that make you go home indeed. So there's a lot there. And Janine, maybe you can set up briefly, I know you and I talked about this for the investigation, but how all roads are going to end here somewhere perhaps in Israel. So from the Khazars to Israel. And this ties into the article also that Ben Fulford put out today. What can you share with the audience there? Choosing your words here carefully.
Yeah, so I do have to be careful, but so you remember those intelligence drops, we'll just call them that, that came from a certain letter of the alphabet. And we had them for a couple of years. And then they sort of tapered off. Now we just have people decoding them still. Okay, thank goodness, because they're providing a lot of intel, and they consistently said, or had the message, that everything ends. So it begins with and ends with Israel. So if Israel's the next or last thing, according to this, what you just got up here, this
Yeah.
report, I mean, if this guy's, on the, fully got all the intel, and he does seem to know, I don't agree with everything he says, but a lot of information comes from that guy for sure. That turns out to be true.
No, he's often on target with a lot of information, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, folks, check out the Insider Access Pass tomorrow night for that. If not, Wednesday morning also for the pay-per-view. But this is going to be an extensive show, and it ties into many things. So Janine and I are just trying to give it the due diligence here to bring all of those pieces of the puzzle together for that one show. Okay, let's move forward from here. Where was I? Now, okay, this is interesting. Of course, you and I, our favorite Canadians. Hello to all of our Canadian friends. We have a Canadian journalist here, maybe the black sheep of the family, separating from the herd, so to speak. So this CBC journalist quits amidst network and admits that the network is deep state propaganda. Wow, those are fighting words, Janine.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's brilliant to say the least. Tara Henley, I wonder if we can get her on the show to speak a little bit more. Now, she talked about a few things, how the network was stifling some investigative reporters, blah, 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 blah. She didn't go as far, at least in this article and the two that I've read, she didn't get into the jab per se in that whole narrative. But I think if you read between the lines, you'll understand where she's going with all of that. So what can we ask the cards here? What are we actually seeing here? What does universe want us to know by this person making this move, or at least this news article hitting the mainstream right now?
Oh, it's authentic. Like, it doesn't look like just theater. She just really is fed up. It's karmically correct. She feels it's karmically correct for her to speak out. She looks kind of livid. This card's really passionate. Okay, so none of it looks like just theater. I think she really feels this way. And so just all on her own, nobody told her to do that, which is interesting because a lot of these things turn out to be just a big theater.
Contrived, yeah.
Yeah, like, it doesn't really look like it is.
A lot of it is often contrived or controlled opposition. This doesn't look like controlled opposition, so far at least.
She waited a really long time to do this. She was feeling really conflicted for a long time, and then just went, okay, I got to do this. She felt in her heart karmically like it was her due diligence to say what she was seeing.
Okay. A supplemental on that one, is she going to trigger a mass exodus to some of her colleagues who perhaps feel the exact same way but haven't as of yet had the courage to make that decision? Is she going to cause that catalyst here?
Well, there is a lot of people feeling really conflicted after she did that. So they're all conflicted because maybe partly guilt because they're ignoring a lot of things, or in conflict because they don't want to lose their job. They don't feel as brave as her. Not everybody's cut from that kind of cloth, right? I know everybody watching shows like this, or a lot of us are.
Yeah.
But then people that kept their regular jobs, especially if they've been working in a big system like that for years and years, it's hard to find real individuals like it looked like she might have been. So you will see some of them, but there's still a lot of dysfunction there. Still a lot of people holding up for dear life to what they are pretending to be okay. It's okay,
Yeah. It's not that bad, really. We're not at war. We don't work for the Nazis. No. Everything's fine. Okay. Well, Tara Henley, if you want to come on the show, if you guys know her, send us this video and we'll arrange something either here or on the private server to get the truth out of her and share more of this catalyst for change in the world of journalism, as it is extremely needed right now. Okay, there's a few comments in the chat about these individuals who died last week. Janine and I are deliberately not addressing those comments tonight, so please stop putting them on the screen. There's a reason for that, and we might come back to that a little bit later. So please just trust us that for now, we're not going to be addressing those particular comments. Alrighty, I love this one. Okay, Janine, I love this one. I've been getting a lot of these over the last number of years. Again, I've been teaching crypto for people for a long time, and I just love these messages. So Janine and Jean-Claude, my family and I actually just got home today with a brand new car that we own outright thanks to our crypto profits. Congratulations. I love to hear those kinds of stories. Can you see our family buying a brand new house with future crypto profits? Profits. So what's in for Annie Siva Kumar in terms of crypto profits? Let's tune in into 2022 to make that question a little bit tighter. And thank you, Annie, for that beautiful tip. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, they're going to be able to afford a house for sure. You better believe it. Maybe even by April. But I get they might want to wait. Something about markets getting funny or something. Housing markets, maybe. Maybe they just want to let things settle. I don't know. Somehow I get wait, but it's not because they won't be able to afford it with their earnings.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And folks, if you go check out Astro Woo Finance, Julie and Janine doesn't remember a lot of things when she's channeling, but I have a bigger recall memory here. So in this episode, we did touch on that subject and why perhaps the waiting was important here in terms of the real estate market. We are expecting some of these prices to go down here. And there's a couple of factors, including the astrology, that ties into all of that. So if you haven't seen that episode right now, we have a 33% off coupon code. It's SAVE33, and you're looking for the Astro Woo Finance on the BeyondMystic pay-per-view site. And of course, this episode is now included also in the Insider Access Pass membership. This is another $400 a year of added value content we've just added to the Insider Access Pass, guys. So if you're thinking, or you were thinking about the Insider Access Pass, maybe you can do it now, because this Stay Connected coupon code is not going to last very much longer. And of course, we're dealing with inflation here too. And Janine and I are not immune to inflation. So at some point here, something's going to have to give. So check it out. Stay connected, 10% off the Insider Access Pass. Now let's go back to PayPal tip jar. Anne. Okay, this is a good one too. And this is a theme tonight, Janine. Lot, and I have a really funny story about this, but we'll start with this question. There's a theme here happening. A lot of people, there was this article last week by the BBC. It was entitled "The Big Quit," where people are using the circumstances now to really think about what the hell they've been doing, why they're in the career they are, why they're unhappy, and just deciding all of a sudden to say, F that, F you, I'm going to do something for me. So we're seeing more and more people self-actualize as opposed to being debt slave workers, basically, is the definition we can give them. So Anne is one of them. Janine, what do you see with my current business? Do you see me signing a new lease? Do you see an RV soon? Will I and my staff I will help all my staff and fund humanitarian projects. Okay, so let's break that down. Do you see her business being successful here in 2022 with humanitarian projects? And do you see that expanding in terms of maybe signing a new lease and expanding? I think that's the best way to summarize that question. And that's from Anne. Thank you so much, Anne, for that tip.
I'd say yes. She's looking forward to good growth in the new year. And these two cards come after. So in particular, within 6, that could be days or weeks, where there's a large influx of money. That could be her RV there that she's wondering about. That could be humanitarian project funding. I don't know what to call it there. But then this is saying, but again, hold off on signing leases. And for some reason, there seems to be maybe just wait and don't watch how things go before you make really big commitments. If things really do devolve, is that the word that's sort of happening right now, where the governments literally are disintegrating and all of these
devolution. Yeah, devolution.
Devolution, and what they talk about devolution, and they're literally like a lot of things are coming apart. Okay, we'll just say it like that. So if that's the case, what I've been getting a lot with readings lately is just wait once. Yeah, these things are happening, but then they're going to take time for the dust to settle from all the upheaval. And then it's time. It's not just like, as soon as you get your RV funding, you should go out and do. Maybe the whole system's going to collapse by then, and you got to wait and see where's a good place to do that. Where's a good place to, things are going to look a little shaky there right after, for instance, the financial system crumbles, which we know it sort of already has, but when it really officially does. So I'm getting, yes, all of those things, but give it time, be patient, and just watchful.
Well, that's interesting. Also, if you guys haven't seen this one, let me see if I can cue this up for you. But Cliff High put out a video this last weekend, I believe it was entitled Wu Do, and he was explaining just what Janine is talking about, how nimble you have to be now moving into this new economy, and how you have to start now, if you haven't done so already, to start putting 10% of your energy towards educating yourself so that you can be nimble and be in the forefront here to manage these extreme changes that are before you, both in your career, in supply chain management, and maybe family drama here that comes with some of the repercussions of the people leaving or exiting stage right. So there's a lot in there. If you haven't seen that episode, please do go check it out. That's on bitchute.com/Cliff High, and the episode title is Wu Do. Actually, let me just bring that link down the live chat for you guys. Really, really cool episode. Okay, next question. Interesting here. Nathalie Roy. Hello, JC and Janine. Oh, hold on. I want to make sure you guys see that. Let me take this one off. Hold on. Udo. Yes, that's what it was. Hold on. I'm losing control. Janine, what's going on? It's probably a Mercury retrograde. There you go. Okay, so I'm putting back this link there. Okay, and now PayPal tip jar. Okay, now you guys can see that. Nathalie Roy. Okay. Hello, JC and Janine. Will the Canadian government break Canada's Constitutional Act and impose an Emergency Measures Act? By doing so, it suspends the Charter of Rights and Freedoms for a term of up to 5 years. Now, that's interesting because just in the last couple of days in the news, we had this guy here basically coming out and saying that at the next provincial, like FedProv meeting, they're going to be asking whether or not they should remove a lot of the rights for the people who are refusing, and having the provinces take the lead in forcing each and every one of those people who are currently refusing to take a specific product. And they're saying, oh, we're not actually talking about it, but we're talking about it. It's kind of like in your face. So guys, go check out this guy here. Interesting enough. So Janine, let's go back to this question from Nathalie Roy. Is the federal government right now, as it plans, trying to maybe perhaps find ways to circumvent the Charter of Rights, to impose maybe this last-ditch effort to force people into doing things they don't want to do? Best I can do here with the nomenclature.
Yeah. So I did do a whole video on that, what that guy was saying about people that are not... and taking away their rights to, like, even making it impossible for them to live, you know what I mean, or do anything. We looked at that, and it did really look like a huge ramped up scare tactic. Thank goodness. But let's keep, we're going to keep on top of that, right? Because that's very fearful, obviously.
Yeah, because the scare tactics, you know, these cornered animals, that's what they have left. And Cliff High in his video today was saying that, yeah, the more they're cornered now, the more they're going to be spewing out of each corner of their mouths, and every orifice is here to try to scare you back into submission. And this is part of that playing out right now. But if we don't stand up to it, they might take control again or lead again, and we don't want that. So we do need to stay on top of it. So what do the cards have to say at this point regarding this story?
So they definitely want you to believe they're looking at it. The story was put out there to believe they're looking at it. They don't actually. It gets really scary, but then it doesn't actually come to fruition. This card says they don't have any of what it would take to do that. Like in no way like our country is not set up for that. It's not going to happen. Okay, so that's enough. And I'm not saying sit on your laurels and do nothing, but nobody's going to let that go all the way through. But it's absolutely going to look like it is for a while, right? So that's going to be put in place and get to a 70% crescendo of that's happening until everybody just finally starts yelling back. Right?
Yeah, and saying enough is enough. And you posted this earlier today, Janine. A big shout out to our Montreal friends walking peacefully, but in protest. Like Michelle Conley on the screen is saying, I will not comply 100%. Go ahead, Janine.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's exactly like just standing for your personal rights, not in fear, but absolutely don't comply. And everybody needs to get there, right? Or we are going to become, like people from the past have, and go the way a way we don't want to go. And I don't believe for 1 minute that's going to happen based in everything I've been getting. But our job is in front of us, and it's do not comply, say no, do less of what they're asking, not more. So don't bend over more. Every day I make a point of doing less and less that the government tells me to do, because I don't recognize the government as anybody that could tell me what to do. They're criminals, frankly. So why would you listen to them? So do less. So if it makes you feel better every day, do less of what they're saying, not more. That'll help, right?
Yep. Very good. Let's do some housekeeping. Karmic is saying, hey, moderators, are you aware that there's a fake account named Tarot Card 2022 using Janine and JC's previous broadcast? There's a lot more than just that one using our previous broadcast, folks. So yes, there's a lot of that going on. And unfortunately, Janine and I can't continue to play whack-a-mole with all of them. We're busy creating content with you guys. So if you guys can help us out and call those guys out for the thieves that they are, and report them to YouTube, it would be a great service to us, because we simply don't have the time. And on that note too, if you're getting messages from Janine and I in the comments below these videos asking you to invest stuff and to contact us, it's not us. I've been getting a lot of emails this weekend. People are just preying on you to get your money. Janine and I don't communicate like that with you guys, and never will. And when we do talk about things, we do it openly here on the video, not on private WhatsApp or whatever else they're trying to lure you into. So be wary, everyone.
Absolutely. People that are really in a position like you and I are, where we're like sought after for our what we know, what in my case tarot, and in your case all your investment information and everything you've been doing for all your many years. We would never need to solicit under comments. Okay, the only scammers or real beginners would do that. Think about it. Why on earth, and how would I ever have time, and how would JC ever have time to do that? That's absurd.
I barely have time to answer the pay-per-view questions, let alone answer stupid comments in the I know, I just don't. And I do comment once in a while, and it's usually to thank all the beautiful people who give us positive love and light in the comment section. That you'll see me do. But trolling for no, you won't see me that. So if you haven't seen what I'm talking about, guys, and you're not sure what we're talking about, go check out this video here, Imposter, Jean-Claude warning, Imposter video. I keep putting this up for people to realize how some of these people are trying to scam you. So anyways, enough with all of that tonight. Let's get back to our meat and potatoes. Laura B says, let me see if I can bring that on the screen. I just pulled it from the Insider Access Pass. Wow, that was an amazing session with Maison Jupiter. Of course, she's talking about this last show, the Astro Woo. Guys, go check it out. We are going to be recording another one of these ones very soon. So in the meantime, if you're interested in that, you have the 33% discount code now, save 33. That's really a 2-hour, really in-depth show, bringing the tarot and the astrological alignments together for you personally, with both of your signs here included in this episode. It's a 2-hour show, so please do go and check it out. Okay, question from the Insider Access Pass. Will income tax be abolished for Canada, the USA, and the world this year? Specifically, this is from Jill in the Insider Access Pass. Thank you, Jill.
Okay, so that does encompass a lot. So I'm going to start with Canada.
Okay.
And I'll look at the US.
Okay. Let's do those two for now and see how that goes. Hankowitz, JC, you have inspired me to learn French. Okay. Thanks, Hank. And speaking of French, tomorrow night I am doing my second French show, my second episode in French here with Julie. That's Odyssée Galactique, l'éveil collectif, oui en français, at 8 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night. So for all you French speakers out there, please join me tomorrow at 8 o'clock Eastern. And thank you, Hank. I appreciate that. I'm always nervous to speak French. Could you imagine? Okay, Janine, back to our question. Canada income tax abolished in 2022, yay or nay?
So I just want to say I'm not encouraging or discouraging anyone to do or not do their taxes. So just a note that I don't tell people what to do when it comes to their taxes. I'm just reading.
We absolutely do not give financial advice, and we recommend that you consult your own personal accredited financial planner.
Or your intuition on your own.
Sure.
Responsibility for your choice. But here's what I'm.
I was trying to put the legalese in there, Janine.
Right. Okay. So we've got this Page of Swords. And we've got this Chariot here. So we've got the Chariot and the Page of Swords. So I'd say it's already greatly changed on some levels that we're not hearing about yet. We're not allowed to hear about it yet. So it's already changing. Okay. In the background, it was already, there's a whole bunch of things going on under the surface that we're not hearing about yet. That was in the past. Of course, it's been outed as a criminal activity as far as I'm concerned, and according to the cards, and actually literally you could find proof that those kind of things are. Okay. So humans have finally caught on that they're being literally pillaged by their own governments and these false, like the Fed isn't really federal and things like that. So nobody used to know that. Now it's all like everybody's got access to that information. So that pretty much crumbles it right there. Okay. Because if you know how to use language in a court system, you can like there's all kinds of videos out there of people that have like totally decoded all of the language trickery that they've been using on us. And there's all kinds of ways that you can go into a court situation and talk yourself right out of any kind of trouble you might be in. But you would have to study up, right? So this card here says, wait, because the whole thing's being revamped and it's going to look different. So I would say more or less that's a yes, because the question was, is it going to be I think dismantled?
The word the person said, Jill, was, will income tax be abolished for Canada?
I think yes, because the outcome cards look pretty abolished. It'll be legally considered hurtful to humans. So that sounds like abolished. But so what I would say about that, if according to the cards, is just wait and see, watch, don't do anything or not do anything, just wait. I'll say it like that.
That's very good. And let me see if I can bring this up here too. Lexa Laura is asking, hey, how's Woo Woo Dude? The answer to that is not so good. So if you guys can send him your prayers and your healing energy, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Joe and I did a meditation last Friday night, and to ask all of our audience members also to send him some love and some healing energy. So if you guys want to check out that episode and meditate with us, Joe brought out his amazing Tibetan singing bowls to go along with the meditations. That was really cool. So thank you so much, Lakeside Laura, and thank you to all of you well-wishers for our friend Richard, the woo-woo dude. Okay, next question. Let me see. Oh, do you want to do the US too, Janine?
Yep, let's do the US.
Okay, and while you pull cards on that too, there's another component that people need to be aware of, and people will say, oh, JC, you keep complicating things. So yes, I agree with Janine that somehow the way it's currently presented is going to be abolished, but it could also be that we're going to have a fairer system where we have live taxation as opposed to a yearly report that you do now with your income tax through cryptocurrencies, which would make sense because we were always asking for all the rich people to pay taxes and they don't. But if they had to pay live on each and every purchase through a network, there might be more equilibrium there. And also taxation on a blockchain could also give you, the person who's giving the taxes, control on where those tax monies go through smart contracts. So that is very positive, as opposed to now giving our taxpayers to politicians who abide by somebody else's drumbeat and who spend our money towards things that we don't agree to. So there's a lot of changes there coming up. So I thought I'd just add that for you guys. Let's go back here to the main question at hand, though. Janine, for the US, yay or nay?
So everything around their system looks like it's been halted, put on hold, okay, and looked at really closely. And the next thing that happens is, I think that's like kind of an abolishment, okay, because it leads to this. Both of these are very freeing and stepping through a gateway and going a whole nother direction. And yeah, so I'm thinking that's Jasara Nasara type energy there, because all of a sudden a lot of what you paid in interest, it's been said, might even come back your way. They stopped charging interest the way they do. We were asking about taxes. Both these cards look like freeing up. So I'm going to say that very similar, only they might even be more dramatic than Canada with it. Ours looked a little more subtle, where it just sort of slides away into oblivion because they know the gig's up. But the US looks like it goes down a lot more like fireworks, crash, boom, bam. Boom, bam.
Crash, boom, bam. Is that a song? Or it's an old Fred Flintstone episode, I think. I forget.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's it.
I love that. Diane is saying, wow, that's something really positive. Yeah, because at the same time, we all want to contribute together to make sure we have the best schools for our kids, that we have the best healthcare for each other. So yeah, there's taxation in that way, not in the way that it's currently presented as legal theft, but as a way for us to contribute with each other in our own community. And imagine if we could do that through smart contracts on the blockchain, then there's no messing around with our money. So there's positivity there in all of these changes, but we just need to keep on top of them every single way to make sure it doesn't go in the other direction. So thank you again. I appreciate that. And perhaps we'll do a whole other show on that, because it is a big topic for us moving forward, not just the question of taxation, but also the question between the centralized and the decentralized cryptocurrencies. This is also a war that we humans will have to fight here very soon, because the bad guys are still trying to do their thing, and we need to stay on top of all of them. Okay, JC, can we ask Janine why the moon is out in the daylight? Well, that's an odd question, but I think I understand what he's saying. Happy Vibes 11 from the Insider Access Pass. Can we ask Janine why the moon is out in the daylight? Now, I've seen that many times before in my life, but I think what the person is suggesting here is that perhaps there's something extra weird happening with the moon as of late. And there's a lot of reporters and videographers, photographers mentioning that right now, including Bruce Ezal, who I've had on my show before, who has this huge telescope set up. So can we ask the cards maybe what the cards want us to know about what's weird right now with the moon that might be causing some weird visual effects, whether in real time or even just perceived by our physicality? What's going on?
I think we've changed, so some layers have come down for us. I feel like maybe it was always there, but we didn't see it. So there's something balancing out about our energy. This card balances our energy. So there's some kind of, and it's around the feminine. So this goes back to divine feminine balancing. So there's something in the energy around us, and that it's affecting the moon as well somehow. That's divine feminine driven, and the balance of that. So just our whole reality is being balanced out by everything that's been going on, the takedown in the background of
basically the collective awakening is creating all of these changes, is what you're saying.
Because it comes from this card, which would be like an awakening.
Right.
But this is like So it's about our perception. Something happened to us, and we rebirthed ourselves somehow on some level. So we leveled up. So if you're seeing that, I think you're leveling up. I think
a lot of people are feeling ascension symptoms also, like weird back pains, stomach issues, ringing in the ears, vertigo, all of these things. I'm getting emails of that in the last couple of weeks. So there's something energetically happening. I have to tend to agree with you, especially in the last week or two. There's a lot going on. Yeah. Okay, on that note, simply because we're there, and I have to get back to crypto here. There's a few other questions with crypto, but let me go back to this question from Jen. Jen from the Insider Access Pass. She says, question for Janine, JC and JC. Is my 14-year-old son working off-world in his sleep? I can't wake him in the morning for school. It's like, Mommy, I don't want to go to school. I used to say that a lot as a kid. Didn't want to go to school. But Jen, she can't wake up her son, 14-year-old son. Is he, the son of Jen, doing off-world work at night?
Looks like a yes.
Wow.
Yeah, because we've got, so being sort of off, like universally somewhere gone, has a whole nother life somewhere else. Yeah, we've got the star there. Could even be contacted and maybe getting downloaded, that sort of thing. Yeah, this is good though. I feel like he's going to be a big part of the balancing of, I think he plays a role in the future with our new world and the more balanced, like the whole energy of the world's going to be different.
Wow.
We're already feeling it. It's causing a lot of weird disruption physically in the world.
Okay, well, who was that again? Jen M in the Insider Access Pass. You need to foster that and see what that young lad needs, because maybe get him some crystals, get him involved with some other people, with meditation, maybe to bring down some of that knowledge here into physicality, so it's not just in his dreams, but you need to encourage them. That's my personal opinion. Go ahead, Janine.
He's got some energy entity that visits and or guides him or takes him, and he's safe. And it's to his advantage and the advantage of the world. So it's not a bad thing.
Wow. Okay. Man, that's wow. Okay. And folks, on that note, we have 9,000 people watching live right now. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. If you're here live now, please hit that like and subscribe button. I just hit the 58,000 here on our YouTube. Really excited about that. So a big thank you. And again, please do go also and subscribe to Tarot by Janine and also to Sending Ravens, because soon we'll be giving Sending Ravens another silver plaque. So hopefully about 20,000 away from that. So hit that subscribe button. All right, there's a cool question here in the Insider in the live stream. It just caught my eye and I couldn't resist. Yvon Rouillard is asking in French, JC, est-ce qu'on vit dans un casier comme dans le film Men in Black? So JC, do we live in a locker like in that movie, The Men in Black? So let me bring that up for you guys if you don't know what he's talking about. So are we somewhere not where we think we are? And of course the moon might be acting up because we're not exactly in the solar system and in the planet we think we're on. So great question from Yvon Rouillard. What can the cards tell us about where we're at and when we are at, and what perhaps we are soon to discover? What would the cards tell us, generally speaking, on that?
Well, I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Okay, so we're not in the closet. Okay.
It is a big mystery.
Yeah.
What's going on, and we are actually in a change time. So our reality's changing. So when people say we're going to have that polar shift, or maybe we already had it or whatever, I'm thinking that's true, because this card says we're in between times. We're going from one thing and we're going to end up in another.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what that says. So we're in the hard part, because it feels really weird, because the old systems crumbling, dying, and belching and reacting really badly, I might add. Meanwhile, we know too much and we can never get fit back into that little box where they wanted to keep us, where they want us to believe that's it, but we're way more magical than that. So it's the exact opposite. They want you to believe you're limited, and they want you to believe in your limitations, and we're just a lot of us have already started finding out we're not. I've been working on that my whole lifetime, realizing I'm not limited. And the more I figure things out, the more I see I've been right all along. My little girl self, who didn't believe a word anyone ever told me, but I was real polite about it. I was always just like, okay, whatever, that's nice, but these adults don't really know what they're talking about. In my mind, I knew everything I'm listening to is a bunch of BS. Okay, so I would just ask my energy, what's real? And how is it really? And I thought I was just making stuff up. And then later, when my life started to exactly go the way somehow in my intuition I was told it would, okay, and I started getting all of these signs from the universe that I was on the right path, I figured out, I think maybe I think I got it right and they got it wrong. And everybody's starting to figure that out.
Yeah.
We're all going over to a whole different reality, and we're literally in the hard part. It's going to be very healing, though. So we're literally going from what was going to be sort of the fate of the world to a whole different fate. We swapped fates, you guys. And we know too much of us woke up. We'll never let them do that again. And yeah, so we're heading into we're heading out of that little square box, because that was where they put us. And we're realizing that we got a whole infinite universe to play in.
Very good. And Violet Biggs was saying, yeah, I was like that too, Janine, when I was a kid. Okay. Let's go back to my slide deck here. A lot of people were asking me today in email, oh my God, what's going on with Bitcoin? Last week, you and I did this show, the Beyond Crypto Woo, or the week before that, and we talked about some of the volatility here for the month of January, and that it wasn't going to be straight up like maybe some other people were saying out there. Now, last Friday, I tweeted, I think a couple of analysts were saying that maybe the bottom would be around the 38,000 for Bitcoin. And here we're at 39,000 on this chart here from Zero Hedge earlier today. So the question for a lot of viewers is, okay, is this the buying time now? Are we are we trying to catch a falling knife, so to speak? Or are we hitting the bottoms, as some of the analysts were saying here, at 38? And are we moving back up from here? What's the direction from the cards on this is Bitcoin specifically?
I think it's got a few more points to go. So it'll lose some more before. And then I feel like, so it says the advice is wait. I think even 4 more, that could be days, but it could also be weeks.
Okay.
So keep an eye on things. Yeah, because there's going to be a real obvious sign for you, because the world says you'll step through that gateway. It'll become really obvious. Okay, so just wait. Maybe don't rush in right this minute.
Okay.
It's going to lose a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking it could be days or weeks anyway of continuing to drop.
Well, I don't want to scare the audience members, but there is still an old Webbot prediction that in the time frame that we are now, we could see a 90% retracement from Bitcoin. And so if you look at the highs of $67,000, we would still have a ways to go. And this is perhaps what Janine is picking up on now. So anyways, buyer beware, invest at your own risk here. And if you watch the last Crypto Woo report, you'll know that there's a lot of volatility for January. We talked about these, with Cliff High talks, these crocodile teeth, talks about crocodile teeth. Okay, this is an interesting news story. I put it out earlier today, but this is exclusive to the IMF, 10 countries getting together here to simulate a cyber attack on our global financial system. Imagine that. Talking about that out loud. And as you know, as they usually do these drills, they usually go live, Janine. So let's ask the cards. Is that what they're planning right now? They can't get anything else to work, so they're going to create this weird boogeyman cyber attack thing and then try to introduce, we're talking about the bad guys here for now. Is that their plan, to try to maybe use this type of event here to rehash or take control of the system that they want to put forward, as opposed to the new one, the new organic economy for humans? Is that the plan for the bad guys?
That feels like something they're putting out there because they're afraid of what's really coming. So this almost looks more like a diversion.
Oh, wow.
Because they can't do anything about what's really coming, which is a balancing and much more balanced and to the advantage of the regular humans, financial sort of whole different financial system is what it looks like. And here we've got, it's already, this was in the past, this card was in the past, already switched over. So this is just a last ditch effort to throw stuff at you, scare you. I don't know what they're up to, but it's because they can't really do anything anymore about what they wanted to derail what's coming, and they can't.
So what's coming, you and I have talked about this many times, is somewhere, somehow, either a bimetallic, trimetallic sound money system here for humans, including silver and gold and perhaps another metal in there. And in my tweet earlier today, I was asking, okay, is it time for the procrastinators to see this and see maybe we're getting short on time and these guys are throwing their last minute fits here before the things change over? So is this, I'm going to ask you the obvious question for the audience members who may not be following us, but is this the obvious time here, if you haven't done so already, to start investing in silver and gold to maybe get out from underneath this and get ahead really in the new system as it's going to be implemented? What can the cards tell these audience members? Big yes. Okay. I just love these cards. It's so obvious every single time.
Yep. That would be wise.
It would be wise indeed. All right. Well, guys, seeing as we're talking about that, let me see if I can bring up our silver here. There is something new for our Canadian subscribers, guys. If you want to check it out, MF Bullion Canada. So if you go to beyondmystic.net, you can click on this link here and have access to silver and gold delivered from Canada and from a website that will be charging you in Canadian dollars, as opposed to this other affiliate for the Americans here from Miles Franklin. So it's making it a lot easier for Canadians to purchase silver. So if you guys are interested in that and you're Canadian subscribers, please do go check it out. These are the PAMP silver bars are on sale for you guys right now on this amazing website. And as you get to the end of the checkout, just click the "Where did you hear from us?" Beyond Mystic to make sure that you have the best possible price for you guys. So that's MF Bullion Canada. We've been working on that for a number of months, and it's finally here for you guys. So let me bring that link down on the screen for you guys. And of course, we're not forgetting our amazing American beautiful friends. So if you guys are also interested in silver this week, Andy from Miles Franklin is offering these silver buffalo rounds at $2.99 over spots. All you have to do is fill out this form, and either Andy or his brokers will contact you very shortly and get this silver mailed out to you ASAP. So big thank you to everyone who support us that way as well. So let me see if I have a last question here, Janine. Am I done at this? Okay, we were talking about, this is funny. We were talking about the organic human economy and how some people are afraid to quit their jobs and they don't know what they're going to do. They don't want to take the jab, but they're like struggling. Oh my God, what am I going to do to pay the bills? Well, look at that. There's an example here of the organic human economy. This young lady here made $200,000, Janine, in 1 month selling farts in a can. So that's very organic. I'm not sure that's what we meant by the organic economy, but it just goes to tell you how amazing opportunities are with the technologies at hand today. And this is where I want to talk about self-actualization and manifestation. And I want you to, Janine, to maybe echo on that for the people who are afraid to get into their own business and their own creation of abundance. This is one example of it. May not be everybody's cup of tea, but there's many ways here to skin a cat. And apparently I'm not supposed to say that. I had a nasty email the other day and I said, okay, it's just an expression. But there's many ways to achieve an objective, basically, is what I'm going to say. So what can you tell the audience here who are still afraid about self-actualizing, moving away from this old system of debt slavery and into their abundance? What can you say? And also let's pull some cards to end the show on that.
Okay, so I having done that my entire life, I've never had a paycheck in my life. Okay, you guys, figure that one. Even when I was waitressing and bartending, it was back in the late 70s and 80s. Okay. For like often we just got paid out of the till and then of course relied on our tips. Canadians rely on tips.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's tipping. Tipping is a thing here in Canada, and way back then you were getting minimum wage, which would have been $3.75 an hour. So your paycheck was minuscule anyway. So tips were the thing, and then usually you would just get an advance, they called it, out of the till. So while I was studying tarot and astrology, I was waitressing and bartending, and that's how I was paid. So I never actually physically got any paychecks, really. Maybe I did a few acting, like background gigs where you got paid for the day. So I might have had a paycheck that way,
Mm-hmm.
But really I have never. So I'm a prime example of it can be done, you guys. I just think, what am I good at? What am I personally good at? I thought this a long time ago. I asked the universe, what I know what I love doing. I love encouraging, and like my family would say, Janine likes to give advice. I guess kind of I do. She likes to, she's a know-it-all. She likes to give advice. So, okay. So kind of, I do have a way of having self-esteem enough to think, okay, I think I might have an answer for your problem there. Do you know what I mean? And it's coming from love, right? So I studied tarot and astrology and numerology because I was interested in those things. I never once thought while I was studying I could make a living from it. Then when I had a daughter and became a single mother, wasn't planning on that, had to get out of the waitressing and bartending business. You can't do that when you have a newborn baby. Okay, so it's like, okay, now I gotta recreate myself. What am I good at? Well, what do I love? I love tarot. I love astrology. Could someone actually make a living at it? I went, you know what? I asked the universe to answer that for me. And absolutely, I said, if it's meant to be, then I'll get the clientele. And it took about a year of real dedication, because anything new you start, you have to absolutely dedicate. But just think about what do I love to do, and how can I market this and turn it into something? At first, I traded for a lot of what I was doing. So I needed, wood chopped. I lived in the Haida Gwaii at the time. Somebody baked me bread. I taught her tarot. She baked me bread. So I had bread every week, homemade bread. Somebody else brought me salmon. Like, I traded for a couple of years. Obviously, some people paid cash too. Okay, but I didn't need the amount of cash. Later, as your life gets more complicated, you have to figure out other ways, to create how the payment happens, right? But it's an exchange of energy. So just think along the lines of, what do I love to do? What do I know I'm good at? How can I serve? How is that somehow serving? Okay, that woman, her farts are somehow serving some weird little bunch out there in the universe who maybe just think it's funny, or it has something to do with they're getting attention from a good-looking woman like that. Okay, or whatever. It's a bit quirky for sure. It's not my thing, but you have to think about: is my humor going to bring this in? Or is it going to be something I actually love doing? You have to love what you do. Don't just do something to make money. That's where we all went wrong in the first place.
Right. And you have to say too that she's being very clever, because she's parlayed these actual farts in a can into NFTs, non-fungible tokens. So now she's moving that, using the popularity to go into the digital world of non-fungible tokens. So anyways, kudos to her for that example. But like Janine says, make it your own and be passionate about it, and universe will reward you. And as Cliff High says, if you solve problems, universe will reward you. But if you solve big problems, universe will reward you bigly. I'm paraphrasing, but you get my drift. Okay, and speaking of living on tips, Janine and I do live on tips also. And so a big thank you to all of you PayPal tip jar donators. You make it possible for us to do all these free show here on YouTube. My channel is still not monetized, by the way. So a big thank you to everyone. Let's pick this last one here, Janine. Jane Hewitt. Jane, you are my savior. Okay, thank you for that. And Amanda. I love the show, Janine and JC. I'd love to know if the tarot... Oh, okay, this is perfectly in line with what you're just talking about. Live example. I'd love to know if I did tarot readings in a past life. I just got my first deck. Feel a massive connection to them. Thank you. And this is from Amanda Park. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate that. So what can the cards tell Amanda about her tarot in a past life. And again, a big thank you to everyone in the PayPal tip jar. We really appreciate that.
Oh, you bet. She got a big yes. And so a well-aspected Queen of Cups. So when this woman's well-aspected, she's an incredible healer, intuitive, and she feels everybody's, what's that called? Empath.
Empathic.
She's an empath. Yeah. So it's, you know, you obviously you need to have the good boundaries with being an empath, but she was absolutely in a past life already doing work like that, healing and channeling for people, all that kind of stuff. She actually did really well. So remember, the healers of ancient times often got fed really well from, so maybe they didn't make actual cash, but that's only because money, physical money, wasn't the exchange. Okay, hunters went hunting, they brought the best catch is going to go to the healer, because you need to be able to call on them when you're in trouble, or in the middle of the night when your partner's having a child, or your child's ill, or you know, something happens and you don't know who else to turn to. That's who they would turn to in the community. So they needed to keep that person on their good side. So when people say, oh, back in ancient times, healers never charged, that is absolutely ridiculous. They were some of the wealthiest people in the community because they had to keep them in a good place so they could do their work. Okay, they wanted them to do their work, so they didn't have to toil, because, you know, out there in the garden and whatever else they were doing, and or hunting or whatever, would take away from when somebody came running and needed them.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
It's just ridiculous when people say that. It's like, it's disempowering. People don't stop their whole life and do for you without an exchange of energy. It's absurd to think, like, why would, that's called martyrism, and it's not even healthy as a human being. Martyrism's not cool. Gougism isn't cool either. So gouging and overcharging and excluding others. So having a variety, that's what Jean-Claude and I do. We have a variety of ways you could touch base. You could totally go on free on YouTube. That's awesome. If you got it, but you have to have a laptop, obviously. Do you know what I mean? Because we can't get to you personally, to your house or whatever nowadays. But you know, if you got that set up, you could see us on so many different shows that way. But then there's varying levels if you want to get into the real deep dives that we can't talk about on YouTube. You're going to have to do the pay-per-views, but that doesn't mean, you know what I mean, we're excluding everybody. Okay, so that's not cool either. But there's a balance. There's a balance of a fair exchange of energy. If somebody's going to give you a whole bunch of their learned energy, maybe lifetimes of knowledge, okay, and work with you on something and help you shift something, you got to help them shift something, like maybe they pay their rent, or you know, feed their kids. That's just how it works. And
that's more in line with what we were talking about, the human organic economy, as opposed to the farts in a can, the organic farts in a can. Okay, I love that, Janine. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Carol is asking, hey, just a little bit of housekeeping. Will you be doing Who's Got Talent? Yes. We had delays in early December in the production schedules, as you know. A lot of people canceling last minute, all these things. And also, Janine and I needed to take some time off. So this is going to be back on the books. It's on my radar screen now. I'm doing a few modifications to the website that's taking a lot of my time right now, but we'll be getting back to Who's Got Talent, and I'm excited to produce this show. So yes, Carol, that is coming absolutely very soon. And I think that's about it for tonight. Janine, let me see. Did I forget anything? Oh, let me bring this one back up, seeing as it's new. Everybody's going to ask me tomorrow. JC, where's the link? mfbullion.ca is the link for you Canadian subscribers looking at getting some silver in your own possession. Let me bring that link back down to the live chat. And of course, oh, somebody says, hey, JC and Janine, you're very generous. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that, because we do 90% of our work for free, Janine and I. More than 90% of our work is free here on YouTube and other channels. So yes, there is a little bit on our pay-per-view, but it's what enables us to do all of this work. And we do very much appreciate each and every one of you who support us that way, and also here at the Insider Access Pass. So a big thank you for that. And of course, for you American fans, Silver Eagles on sale now at $2.99 over spot, and that can be found at beyondmystic.net/silver. All right, that's it for tonight. We will be back Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern. And for all you French speakers, please join me tomorrow night for Odyssée Galactique, l'éveil collectif, et oui, en français, à 20h, heure de l'Est, with the amazing Julie from Maison Jupiter. You can find her work at maisonjupiter.com. In the meantime, you can subscribe to Tarot by Janine and also here at Sending Ravens. This was Tarot by Janine on Monday night. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and I love you guys. Have a great evening. Au revoir.
Au revoir.